Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Nisha.
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening, friends. Meeting again after a big gap in the philosophy session. So, we'll start with the same chapter, that is taking the case. Very interesting subject, and from the H.A. Roberts concept about the taking the case, that's what we are discussing. Hahnemann have elaborated this topic from the aphorism number 83 to 104 in detail. And the simple explanation of those aphorisms, H.A. Robert tried here to explain it in his own words. He has mentioned all the concepts what Hahnemann have told in his own way. So how one should approach, what should be the qualities of homeopathic physician for taking the case. Then how he should approach, how the patients should feel the confidence in himself, how should be the attitude of the physician. Every aspect he has taken into consideration, and then he explained that you have to look towards each and every symptom in detail. The symptom plays very vital role, where you have to find it out what are the characteristics which belongs to the patient, and that if you are able to get those characteristics, it is possible to get a right remedy. So to grab that totality, how one's approach should be, that is what is the taking the case. And we are on the page number 76. We have discussed only 2 to 3 paragraphs on that day, because this is the topic which needs the elaboration, and that's why I'm giving so much of time to this practical part of organ of medicine. So we'll go with the last paragraph, which is there on the page number 76. Now ask the patient to tell you in his own words how he became ill and exactly how he feels. A simple question. So you just ask the patient, what do you feel? What is your problem? How it has started and what do you feel? If patient starts narrating, Doctor, मला असं वाटतं, he starts, I am feeling that it might have happened because yesterday I went to on bike to a next village, and that draft of air caused me a disease. See, he has started the sentence, what I feel. So this is very important. The way patient presents it matters a lot. It indicates he is telling his own theory. So you have to understand the concepts behind that, the man behind the symptom. And that's why your question should be proper enough. So first important thing, ask the patient to tell you in his own words how he became ill and exactly how he feels, what he feels. Feeling is very important because feeling is the individualistic entity. So you must ask regarding his feeling. Do not offer any interruption. If patient started narrating, don't interrupt. Why don't you, why it is needed to, you should not interrupt? Because there is a chain of thoughts which happens to be there. Hahnemann have used the word train of thoughts. That is vicharanchi shrunkala. One thought is correlated with another, that again with another. So this is the chain that is very important. And if you disturb that, finished. You have lost very important data which would have come to you if you would have not interrupted. And that's why he says without interruption. So do not offer any interruption lest you break his thread of thought. So because of which you can drop that thread of thought. As you record the symptoms, leave a space between them so that you can feel in later answer to questions as it may be necessary. See how much detail Hahnemann have explained. He has written how to write. You write the symptom over there and leave one space over there so that if any detail you get later, you can add over there. See, this is conscientiousness of Hahnemann. How much he thought about everything. He has explained, yes, keep a space over there. If he comes to the point where he seems to hesitate, simply ask, what else? See how Dr. Rajan Shankaran has developed this habit of using these two words in his case taking. If you read his system of homeopathy, where he has elaborated n number of cases, you just see, and if you see the recordings of his cases, this is the question he used to put. He used to talk very less, and he used to ask, what else? Anything else? What else? You provoke the patient to talk so that you can get the data which is necessary for you. So this is simple question. What else? Ajun kai. In Marathi, Ajun kai. That is very important thing. Simply ask what else. Continue this system of interested listening. Underline interested listening. You should be a very good listener. Go on listening. Your ears should be, and your approach should be towards the patient. He should feel that you are listening to him. I will just share my experience. Day before yesterday, I had a case of depression from Punjab. And that fellow, he has given his case. He has explained with my assistant. He was talking 1.5 hours, and he has explained each and every detail, each and every detail. So she took the case, and then in the evening, I had a phone call with the patient, and he was so happy, so happy. He said, Doctor, first time someone have listened me for 1.5 hours. I'm feeling so relaxed. I don't know whether I will get result or not get the result, but today, first time I felt I'm so happy. Someone have listened me. This is very, very, very important thing. Listening is one of the important method with which you can provoke the patient towards the recovery. And that is why you must, so interested listening until seemingly has exhausted his story. जोपर्यंत पेशंट थांबवत नाही, till the patient stops talking, you should continue. Listen, very important. Unless he goes to the other track, then only you interrupt. If he is on track, don't interrupt. Then you are ready to review the case as it has been given to you. So once patient stops talking, explaining, then it is the time to revise whole case. Then you go through whatever you have written. Then you have to find it out what are the lacunas which patient have not told. Perhaps before we go into the next step, the questioning by the doctor, it will be well to state the things we must never do. One more thing, he is explaining that what physician should not do during case taking. Do's are there, what he should not do, don'ts. There are two important things, do's of physician and don'ts of physician. Very, very important thing. So what is explaining over there? It will be well to state the things we must never do. We cannot place too much emphasis upon absolute necessity of leaving these things undone. So first thing, avoid all leading questions. What is a leading question? A question which is either has answer in yes or no, or you just ask, do you like sweets? He has to say either yes or no. So these are leading questions. It doesn't give you significance. Instead of that, your question should be formed in such a way that patient will going to explain it. So your question should be, what do you like in your daily food? What you crave, it should be there. then patient will answer. You should not give directly do you like sweets, do you like salt? These are the questions, these are leading. These are what do you like specifically. By leading questions, I mean questions that suggest answers to the patient or suggest that you want to bring out certain answers. Some patients are desperately anxious to have answers suggested to them, and the physician must constantly on his guard to avoid doing so. So such types of patients should not question should not be asked. Your question should be very, very precise. Guest taking is an art. That's why you have to make a habit of developing or creating your own questionnaire. It should be proper one. When you start the guest taking, I used to have a habit of asking, then how do since the disease has started right from the beginning till today, what has happened? Explain it in detail. If you put such type of question, I used to ask in Marathi, जिथपासून आजाराची सुरुवात झाली तिथपासून आतापर्यंत काय काय कसं कसं झालं सगळं मला सविस्तर सांग. So you have to ask the questions in a proper manner. That will guide you to the patient that what we expect. Then we get the causative factors. Then we get exactly the sequence. Then we can think while treating what should disappear first and what should disappear later. So this question should be very proper. Second, never ask direct questions that may answered with direct affirmative or negative. So this is again a part and parcel of first questions part. So either wherever the question answer is either yes or no, such types of questions should not be asked. Never ask alternating questions. Don't give a choice generally. Do you like sweet or pungent? Alternating. No. He has to decide either or. It should not be. Third, don't. Fourth, avoid questioning along the line of the remedy. It means you are prejudiced. You feel the patient is Sina. So your question starts confirming Sina. Then you ask whether your child bores the nose. Then you ask whether your child sleeps on abdomen, whether your child grinds the teeth during the sleep. Such types of questions are in the direction of the remedy. So these questions should be avoided. Sometimes we may get a clue from a statement of the symptoms that may suggest a certain remedy, and we must be very cautious not to allow this to prejudice us in favor of the remedy suggested by questioning the patient along this line, and thus perhaps bias the patient in his reply. So our question should not be very biased or with the prejudiced mind. So just ask what is the problem, explain in detail. So you get the proper answering. Fifth, don't. While you are dealing with the one symptom, confine yourself to that symptom. Never skip from one symptom to another symptom at random, as it confuses the patient and scatters the physician's idea. So you should not go on changing the subject. If patient is talking about certain symptoms, listen. Try to complete that symptom clearly. If patient is narrating, don't shift him towards the another thing. This is too important because then you get a clear totality, otherwise you would not. So he is explaining all those details over there. So these are the don'ts, 5 don'ts which he has mentioned over there. Now he says, now we will return to the necessity of rounding out the symptom picture in our record. So after completing this, then we have to go for whatever you have written. Some symptoms may have been given with fair degree of completeness. So you might have got the symptoms which are complete, that is, they have location, they have sensation, they have modalities, they have concomitant. So that those symptoms are good, but there are many symptoms which are incomplete. Some symptoms may have been given with fair degree of completeness, others are very incomplete. We must complete as far as possible every symptom that has been presented, and for this careful questioning is necessary. So if you feel that patient has told any symptom which is in a vague language, He explains that he has a headache, doctor. But he has not explained where the headache is, what are the modalities, what are the causative factors, is there any concomitant along with that. So unless and until you complete that, you don't have any meaning to that headache. That never defines any remedy. So it is too much necessary to go to the right, to go to the symptom and find it out whether it is complete or incomplete. If it is incomplete, your questioning should be proper enough so that you can get and make it complete. Then he says, each symptom must be rounded out as to the time and place. Very important. See the modalities, the times and place, very important from homeopathic point of view. Patient comes to you and patient explains, he's having, doctor, exactly at 4 o'clock, I got the chill. 4 a.m., he is getting the chill and he is giving you time modality. Then you open the repertory, find it out, chill chapter, open the morning 4 a.m. chill, only remedy cedron in Kent's repertory. So if it is so, you are getting a remedy on the basis of the characteristic time modality. So each symptom must be rounded as to the time and place. The sensations, second important thing, sensations matters a lot. Sensations are individualistic. One might feel heavy, another might feel pulsating, another might feel it is neuralgic, someone feels it cramp-like. Every patient expresses it in his own individuality through the sensations. The sensations, the kind of distress, the type of pain, all of the modalities connected with it. So all modalities, what aggravates it, what ameliorates it, the probable causation, that is what the patient thinks was the start of the trouble. So see, as far as possible, all those points matters a lot to complete the symptom. If you make it complete, you will get, it becomes characteristic. If once it becomes characteristic, you get a right remedy on the basis. So this is what he is explaining. These are things which matters a lot. Under the modalities, we must secure the aggravation and ameliorations of each individual symptom so far as possible. So we must ask, what are the aggravating factors? What are the ameliorating factors? Not the least important is the emotional reaction of the patient. So you have to look towards the emotional reaction of the patient, how he reacts, how he reacts to your questionnaire. Everything is important. You put a question and patient, why do you like that? Why do you want that? His reaction is like that. If you are putting question, yes, what do you feel? What's the problem? And then you ask any specific detail and he looks like this. It means he never liked to go into the details. What do you feel? The feeling is very important. First, he is frowned. That is very important. But regarding what? Regarding that he is not liked your questioning. Mood repulsive. So you have to go and find it out each and every detail, the patient's emotions, how patient express. If I put a question to the patient and patient started weeping directly, just a first question and patient started weeping. Very important for you. Weeping when telling your symptoms, very important thing. So these are the things which you have to catch in the case. So that becomes a concomitant to the chip complaint. The chip complaint is one and that is a concomitant. So you have to understand all those things, how the patient narrates, what the patient talks, how is his behavior. Every aspect gives you an individuality of that patient. Then what he says, when we work out the recording of the case in this way, we cover all the parts of the man and can see the picture as a whole. So once you complete this, then you can think the patient as a whole. Then your mind starts running. This is whole picture. Indeed, this is whole totality, which is defining such and such remedy. We must leave nothing uncovered. What he's saying, we must leave nothing uncovered. So as far as possible, every point in your questionnaire should be covered on your case paper record. In order to do this, we may have to bring into play the testimony of the family or nurse on the symptoms and the conditions that may have bearing of considerable value. So, if you are not getting everything from the patient, then it is necessary to ask his relatives to come in, ask them regarding his behavior, regarding his complaints, if anything he knows regarding the patient, that will guide you towards the individuality, to find it out the individuality of that person. So, see how minute details he has explained over there in order to understand or while taking the case. However, this source of information must always be scanned with great deal of circumspection, and we must weigh the integrity of the source as being worthy of consideration. If you ask the friend or if you ask to the patient's relatives regarding the patient, but you should not believe that what he is telling is always truth. You have to scan that. You have to first understand what he has, what the patient's relative or what the patient friend is explaining, whether it is really worthy, real in consideration. You have to think about it. So you should not believe directly what the patient or patient's relatives are saying. You have to utilize your intellect while taking those things into the consideration. Then he says, with the most careful recording and the most cautious questioning, we may be unable to find complete symptoms and may be unable to build up more than a sketch of the patient himself. We will deal with this in a later chapter. Sometimes it happens that you have utilized a proper way of case taking. You have asked many things. You remained more cautious while questioning, and you never get a totality still. So you are nowhere. And it happens many times. Because people don't have a habit of explaining the things in detail. They push to the allopaths, and allopaths never puts big question. They ask, what's your problem? Patient tells, I am having such and such. They just ask the patient to lie down, they check the pulse, BP, auscultate, finish. Yes, take this medicine. That's all. That is the case taking in allopathy. And patients are habitual to such types of approaches. So how can he will going to explain each and everything in first consultation? He is not familiar with that. And if he is not familiar with that, how you can get immediately in the during the first consultation all the details what do which you expect. I will share one example. It was interesting. Patient came to me for a migraine headache. She was there with me for a year, and I was treating her. Whenever she used to get a headache, she used to come to me. I used to find it out a similimum. I used to give that used to make her palliate. She used to be settled with that, but she was not getting cured. It was off and on. Monthly, she used to get that everything. Every time she used to get that. After a year, one day, patient said, "Doctor, I want to tell you, or I want to share something with you." So I asked, what is the problem? She said, please don't laugh. I said, I will not laugh. Then she narrated, Doctor, is there any relation of my headache with the new moon and full moon? I got the remedy after a year when she has explained this important thing which she had kept hidden because she felt doctor will call her superstitious. And because of which she has not explained the thing. After a year, she asked whether is had. Then I asked why you are asking, doctor. I am getting my headache every time whenever there is a new moon as well as full moon. Finished. You get the remedy. You get very perfect remedy. We have such a rubric over there. We have remedies like that. and I have treated her with Cilicia, and she was recovered so fantastically. So these are the things. This happens many times in our practice. We never get whole thing on day one. And this is what we have to understand, that don't expect that you're going to get all things on the day one, but you have to work hard for this. I think we'll stop over here. We'll continue with it in tomorrow. Most probably there will be a session tomorrow. I don't know exactly, because there is a big work another is going on. If it completes, but most probably it will complete till 4 o'clock. If it completes, yes, definitely I will send the message regarding the tomorrow's session. So that's all for today. Thanks a lot. Today evening we're going to meet with new remedy, Ignatia. So it is a wonderful remedy. It will take at least 2 days to learn. So we'll continue with the Ignatia at 8:15. Thank you and good evening.